time to take a look at what's making headlines in the international press with Sergei Lavrov, who joins me once again in the studio. Deepti, hello again. And you're looking at reactions to that icy meeting between the US Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and his Russian counterpart.
Awkward, tense, glacial. These are some of the words that are being used to describe that meeting between Lavrov and Tillerson in Moscow yesterday. Rochelle, Russian newspaper Kommersant says there was no breakthrough, but Russia and the US did agree to start moving in the same direction. While the website Vox says the two men barely acknowledged each other and took swipes at each other's countries, Vox says it's clear that the Trump-Russia lovefest is dead. Politico says Tillerson felt the chill in Moscow. They remind readers that when he visited Russia when he was previously head of ExxonMobil, he got the red carpet treatment. Now his meeting with Putin on Wednesday, organized at the last minute, really seemed like a snub. Finally, the New York Times have penned an editorial looking at the impact of these icy relations. Will it be harder for Trump to engage Moscow in the struggle against Islamic State group, for instance? And will an angry Putin intensify his, quote, mischief in Europe as a result of these tensions? Well, this is something that Trump needs to now mitigate through.
OK, well, staying with Donald Trump, he gave an interview to the Wall Street Journal and made some remarkable comments about how he deals with diplomacy.
That's right. You can read more. You can read the full interview in the Wall Street Journal. But I just want to talk about a specific part where Trump says he developed a, quote, warm rapport with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping after his visit last week. Trump told Xi that China can easily take care of the North Korea threat, to which Xi then explained to Trump the history of China and Korea. Trump said, I quote, after listening for 10 minutes, I realized it was not so easy. The journal says the two men do plan to keep in contact. Perhaps Trump would like future lessons in Chinese history.
We know his granddaughter speaks Chinese and sings in Chinese. Anyway, there's a lot of reactions as well today, as well to Monaco's win over Borussia Dortmund in last night's Champions League, the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final.
Well, Monaco won 3-2 over Dortmund in that first leg of their quarterfinals. The match really overshadowed by that pipe bomb attack on Tuesday near the Dortmund team bus that forced the match to be postponed. And German police are investigating possible Islamist threats or links to the attack. Well, fans, The Guardian says, turned out to support their respective teams yesterday and really showed their defiance on a, quote, European night of raw emotions. In the German press, there's also a lot of chatter about Dortmund or the team's fury that the match went ahead just a day after the attack, given how traumatic it was for the players. Die Welt, for instance, reports that Dortmund defender Socrates has lashed out at FIFA, saying, I quote, we are not animals. He adds, we felt like we were being treated as if beer cans were thrown at our bus.
Wow. OK, well, to Venezuela now, where anti-Maduro protests are spreading through the country and have now reached the slums, which typically support the socialist leader.
Well, the country has been in the throes of an economic crisis for quite a few years now, and the protests have been turning deadly. Daniel Kelly's, a 19-year-old law student, was shot in the neck on Monday in the state of Carabobo, and the governor there has confirmed that that bullet came from a policeman's gun, and an inquiry is underway now. There have also been protests in support of the embattled Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, but a writer in the Miami Herald has penned an article saying, well, the opposition has regained momentum. There's increasing diplomatic pressure on Maduro and nationwide protests that really show things are changing in the country and not in favor of Maduro.
OK, well, let's end with a tweet, or rather a meme, that's been shared thousands of times, Deepti.
Well, let's admit it. This past week has not been very good for public relations firms, from Pepsi's Black Lives Matter-inspired ad featuring a white woman to United's forcibly removing one of its passengers and initially refusing to apologize for it, and finally Sean Spicer and his sort of say what moment comparing Hitler and Assad. Well, one Twitter user has rolled the three PR disasters into one, and here it is. You see Sean Spicer, a United Airlines pilot captain, drinking Pepsi, as Huffington Post says. It perfectly sums up the absurdity of April.
Indeed. Okay, thank you so much for that, Deepti. Deepti Lavrov there with the International Press Review.